We're on. We're going to talk about God's glory. This is going to be the end result from last week's teaching that some of you were here for. And we're going to go through some of these scriptures. I may repeat several of them, but that's all right because your attention span being an adult is about 5 to 7 seconds. So I'm going to go with John 13:32 in the New Living. And since God receives glory, God receives glory. Why does God receive glory? Does anybody know why?
He is glory.
Because of the Son. He will give His own glory to the Son, and He will do it so fast it will be instantaneous. It's reciprocal. God's glory goes into the Son's glory, which, where does it go from there? Us, we be the glory.
There ain't no such thing as 1532.
13:32.
13:32.
And this is a New Living. I don't know what you got on your phone. Anyway, it's reciprocal. Glory comes from who? The Creator. Who's Creator? Jehovah God. The I Am. That's why we're in the family of I Am. I Am means what? I am. You name it, He is. Period. The end. So, His glory, He generates it, He creates it, He gives it to the Son, Jesus, the Messiah, our Redeemer, the Lamb, which will be the Lion when He comes back. Anyway, He has the glory. Since we're in Jesus, and Jesus is in us, then we have the glory. The same glory that God had originally. Okay? Then, when you possess that glory, and you use that glory in your teaching, in your life, then where does that glory go? Back to God.
It's a circle.
It's a circle. It's reciprocal. Jesus is the glory.
Now is that seed time and harvest?
Same difference, yes.
So the circle is seed time and harvest.
Yes, sir. It always, that's a natural law
Everything is
of reciprocity. It's also a spiritual law. It has to work that way every time. There's only one exception to that, if you believe. If you don't believe it, it won't work. And if you don't do it in love, and you do it to give, to get, which is taught just about everywhere I know, guess what? That only works to the person that teaches it, because you're giving it to him. You give it out of love, the law will come back to you, and it will be more than you give, because it has to. It's a law. If you believe it, it works. If you don't believe it, it won't work. A lot of preachers out there, man, are takers. They're not givers. You've heard me say that. I don't like takers. I like givers. Why? Because you can't outgive God. God has given the very best that He had. And what was that? It was Himself. He became from Jehovah God, Spirit being, in heaven, in the throne room of glory, surrounded by multitudes of cherubims and angels and all that stuff up there. And they were all worshiping God, not counting the believers that are up there also. But what did He do? They weren't up there at that time. They were in Abraham's bosom down in the earth because there wasn't a heaven yet. But what did God do? He made Himself a human being, and He put Himself into that human body. And He's called the Son of God, which is Yeshua, Jesus, the Messiah, the Anointed One. Christ is not His last name. That was a name given by a Roman emperor to all the people. And in Greek it's Christos, which means Christ-like. That means like Jesus. That's where that came from. It's not even a church name. Oh, but it's in the Bible. Yeah, because guess what? Romans were in the Bible, and they quoted them. Didn't come from anybody that has anything to do with God. So when somebody says, I pray in Christ's name, that drives me up the wall. It's not His name. So He is.
Christ's sake.
Yeah, there
A
you
lot of
go.
people pray
What's
for Christ's sake.
Yeah, you know what that means? Nothing.
For the sake of who?
Who? You're Christ-like, aren't you? Aren't you like Jesus?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then are they praying to Ed Edwards?
No.
No. That's what I'm talking about. You can't use Christ as a religious saying.
You ever noticed people praying in public prayer of how many times people refuse to pray in the name of Jesus? They'll say, in your Son's name,
Yeah.
for your Son's sake. But
What's that mean?
they leave out the one word that it needs to be pronounced.
Yes. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
They're takers, not givers. That's the reason. See,
Well, a lot of it's just ignorance, so.
well, once again, the people don't want them to have that authority. See, that's the glory of God.
Well, they're afraid, I think a lot of them are afraid they're gonna offend somebody.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to get out there on a limb because really, you know, I don't want to
Well,
say,
they don't want to be
I don't want to be
considered a
blamed.
nut.
Yeah, I don't want to be blamed for using Jesus.
That sounds like Washington DC.
Well, we ain't gonna go there. That's behind enemy lines. Hallelujah. So I want you guys to understand, we're talking about.
Give me a definition of this right here. I'm having trouble with this. My Bible says at the end of that verse, and shall straightway glorify him.
Well, that's the glorify is going back to God, which is coming through you, which God gave Jesus to give to you. So it's reciprocating, it's a circle, and that's what that means.
Straightway.
Because your glory, by doing what you do in love, that glory that Eddie Raines is producing in the circle of influence that Eddie has, well, that glory is going all the way back to God.
Do you think that when I'm praying and I say, Lord, I just glorify you, I magnify you,
Yes.
is the words strong enough to show him my feelings, true feelings?
Those words, what's producing the words?
My heart.
Okay, that's where the feeling's coming from, your heart. Then yes, it is, because they're coming out of your heart. See, every word is like a gun, it's like a bullet. It's got powder behind it. It's called potential. Now, what?
It's called what?
Potential.
Potential. Well, that's not the word I want, but that's close enough. Thank you. Perception, that's what I was trying to say. That word, why did they say the word? Some people use their intellect to use it to make you feel good because they want you to be in harmony with them so then they can twist your mind and you'll believe them. Now that word was done as what? Giving to get. A lot of people do that. That's religion. If you speak that word out of pure love that's coming out of your heart and that love is behind that word,
Emanates. The word.
and that word's going out in how? In love. Then yes, it's exactly what you have to do. But you get to choose how you use the word.
See, the scripture, once again, I keep going back to Philemon 1:6.
Yeah.
You're acknowledging. See, when you magnify God, you're acknowledging. That
He
acknowledges
is God.
everything that is already in you, in Him.
Yeah,
It just makes you stronger.
And a lot of people want to use their head to do all this with the intellectual knowledge. See, intellectual knowledge puffs you up. That's why you get PhDs.
so I don't have a problem with that.
And why you've had the reverse problem. You beat yourself up all the time. And that's not good either. But there's no defense against love. See, wisdom and knowledge builds you up. The other puffs you up. See the difference? I don't want to be puffed up. You know, Solomon said, give me wisdom. David, his father, told him to ask for two things. Solomon didn't ask for the first thing. And David said, be sure and ask to be a man after God's own heart. That was the first request Solomon should have made. And he didn't. And all he asked for was wisdom. So now you know why he went through all that crap with all those concubines and those women and Bathsheba and all this crap. And after all of it was said and done, Solomon sits back and says it was what? A waste of time. I've had it all, and I still don't have it. Because he forgot to ask what David told him. See how important that is? These are words we're talking about. And we all fall into that category. So when you're worshiping God, Eddie, out of your heart, out of love, anything that comes out of your mouth in love is going to glorify God. Because that is the glory of God.
Okay, the
It's all
question is,
encompassing.
how do you know it's coming out of your heart and love?
That's true.
Okay, so I'm asking,
How do you know?
yeah,
Each individual knows their own.
I think that's right. You just know. It's
Do you
like-
know you're born
What-
again?
Right, that was exactly where I was going. How do you know you're born again? I mean, I can't prove it to anybody, but I know it, buddy. I mean, the Holy Spirit's constantly telling me. I think that's how come I know it.
And that's why God said, know me,
Right.
not.
that's the
Not
whole
as-
key to eternal life is knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's on the energy. See, that's not
Yeah.
carnal. It's not physical, it's energy.
Right.
That's the difference.
Mm.
See, knowing is being, not doing.
Assurance.
Yeah, you know when you're saying something that's pure and honest, or is not. We know the difference.
Yeah.
Everybody knows when they tell a lie, a little white lie, because your wife says, do I look fat in this dress, honey? Yes,
That's
your
why
ass is this
I've learned-
wide.
I've learned with this little Asian family that I deal with, you have to be real careful about your words
That's good.
that you use, because of the way they interpret them. They can get, they look at them sometimes
They can get crossways very easy.
very easy. Some of the words that I use in the American slang stuff, you can see them sort of kind of perk up when you talk to them. And then I asked them, I said, did I say something to offend you? And, well, why are you getting mad? You know, I said, I'm not mad. I didn't mean for it to be mad. It's country slang, you know? It's just southern, the way southern people talk sometimes.
And you know what? Each word that comes out of your mouth, what's behind that word? It's either going to be love
Yeah.
or fear. It's emotions. And the country slang, southern, we all
We
grew
all
up
get,
with it.
it can be offensive.
It is offensive. It's not because see, when we say it, we think it's cool because we grew up saying it and everybody else saying it. Well, guess what? No.
Well, amongst our culture, people like in this room, we all understand that.
Yeah.
But if you go out to a different culture, boy, is it different.
That's why God said what? Let your yea be yea and your nay be
Yeah,
nay.
I've really learned when I'm around them, but really watch what I say.
You have to. You should do that with everybody because every word has value. That's why you
Well, they look to us as being, different, I mean, helping them and
assimilate into this.
yes, yeah, like when we're Americans and they come over here as a new country and they respect us for what we've done and how we helping them and all that. But boy, their culture is totally different.
Oh yes.
Totally
Yeah.
different.
Yes.
Their verbiage.
Their verbiage.
That's the America that our ancestors and we helped. It ain't that way now, but it used to be. Our country as we know it's gone. It's dead.
Right.
You know, go to the funeral. It's over.
Yeah.
And that's why God's
Well,
coming
Franklin
back.
Graham says we'll never vote it back.
Oh, we can't.
We've lost it
Well,
too much.
voting's not the way to do it anyway.
It has to be.
Voting's crap.
All you gotta do is read Revelation to find out.
Well, when you look at,
It's the selfishness of people that's causing, and it's not just America, it's the world.
Oh, yeah.
But we grew up in love. But you know what happened? Because of the way the churches have gone and the way they've taught people, they're getting outside of what Jesus has done for us and what can you do. That's what did Kennedy say? What can you do in the country? I can't do crap. God can and has. I follow God. I don't follow me. But see, there's right there, and everybody, wow, great speech, Kennedy, what a great prep. No, that's wrong. You see that? It's not what Eddie Raines can do for this country. Well, we can't vote it in. Vote's crap anyway. It was just an illusion that thought we had it control. We ain't had control since Lincoln. And they blew his brains out. So, no, it's false. America has been going down the tubes very fast for the last 60 years.
and there's
We're all
a reason for it.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a reason for it. It's numbers. The majority of the people like that.
It's more about me. I'm more interested in what I get, Eddie, than what you have. And if you got too much, I need some of it, so we'll be equal. But that's the way of the demonic influences and the Luciferian teachings. It's been around since after the flood they started. Nimrod was the first king of the Bible, which was a Nephilim. He was over 13 feet tall, and it was all about him.
But see, the people that get elected in the powerful offices, they get to the point where they're so powerful and they feel that and they don't want to lose that, man. They don't lose, it's like drug addiction.
It's self. It's selfishness. Go look out there in the parking lot. Walk the parking lot and see how many people park their car in between those two little white lines. Go look. I did. Walking in with Tony today. They had some people that took up 2 parking spots. And then they were over here and they were there and they were, they don't give a crap about what you need or want or have in your little car. It's all about them and their car.
Yeah.
Drive. What happens? How many people run red lights? I had 44 people turn left in front of me when I was supposed to be able to turn right. I was just counting to see what would happen. But that's the selfishness of the world. That's why Jesus got to come back. Because this is all crap. And it's being led by man's inhumanity to man. It's going to be all about me. Where's Jesus in me? He ain't here. Few of us enlightened people that understand that there's going to be a remnant of people that's not going to be succumb to this Luciferian dictatorship, and they're still not going to take Jesus as their Savior. They're just going to be out there, and they're going to go through
They even
3.5
program
years.
on TV now called Lucifer.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Well, no, it's just the way it is. It's going to get worse. But you know what? How much power does any of those people have over you?
Zero.
That's right.
Sorry for shouting.
No, I'm glad you did. That means it came from your heart, not your head.
It just whooped right out of there.
The only thing that they can do to you is what you let them do.
So I seen that advertised on TV, that Lucifer show, has got the best looking, dark haired, Italian looking guy, his name is Lucifer, and he does this Lucifer stuff. I wouldn't watch it, Lord, I'm mercy, I'd be afraid to. But he challenges all these people.
Why would anybody want to go this cold?
Oh, that's it.
Because how many people put Obama in the office and Clinton's in the office, and Clinton's wife said that she talks to Eleanor Roosevelt's ghost. She was in seances with, and Eleanor Roosevelt, if she was born again, you can't come back. There ain't no ghosts. They're demons. They're fallen angels. People that die go. They're not here. I'm sorry. There is no afterlife back on earth. You can't come back as a cow. You can't do it. I'm just sorry. It doesn't work that way.
Well,
You're a living soul with a spirit, and it's got to go to a different dimension. This is a physical, three-dimensional dimension, and if you don't have a flesh and blood body, you can't stay here very long. That's why all the demons had to do what when Jesus cast them out? What did they say? Put us into pigs. See, that's a flesh and blood body.
because a pig would stay on the earth.
Why did Satan have to be a snake to talk to Eve? Because Eve was not a spiritual being. Yes, he had to have a body to be able to communicate with this person. It's all about energy. This is why this physical body is a receptacle that our spirit lives in. Yeah, you need to be in harmony with, but guess what? How long are you going to be here, Eddie? Versus eternity.
Right.
So you piss a few people off on the way. Look how many people I've pissed off in the last 69
I'm more than
years.
an attorney.
You know, when you ride the elevator up and down, just think, this is life. There it
That's
is.
right.
From the first floor to the basement, and the basement to the first floor.
Length of your life.
And then when Jesus comes back, you know what we're going to be doing? Teaching the folks for 1,000 years. Because they're going to still be doing the same thing during the day for 1,000 years.
Yep. And there's gonna be people who.
Take that long to clean the bucket.
And Jesus is going to be sitting, in Jerusalem running the show.
And how amazing will it be that they have just witnessed what the power of Jesus, and yet they still will be unbelievers?
How many people did the power of Jesus when he walked this earth and they still didn't believe? And the Pharisees got him killed because of it. That's the inhumanity of man. That's what I'm talking about. See, the only way that you can get somebody's heart to turn, don't be so about me. Me could be a religious organization, i.e. your church. It can be me. It can be reading the Bible. It can be coming in here listening to me. If you're not doing it because of being one with God, then you're doing it for yourself, which is selfish. And you're missing the whole thing. See, it's got to be about what Jesus has done. We revel in what he's done, not what we do. Being one with God, which is Jesus and the Holy Spirit. That's what it's about.
But I'm gonna tell you something, there's some guys, I hate to talk about since football season started, but they had a special the other day about Clemson,
Yeah.
Dabo Swinney.
He's a good Christian guy.
Hey man, I'm telling you, he quoted some scripture and he laid it out just exactly how to value his program, what he values on it, and the values he teaches. And there ain't no shortcuts about it. He doesn't care whether, hey, all the country folks over there don't like what he's doing, but that's the way it is. And he is willing to that guy, I'm impressed with him because
Football's not number one in his life.
that's exactly.
See,
He's the head coach at Clemson. His parents divorced when he was 7. He lived with his grandmother for 5 years. Then he lived with another couple for 5 years. And he walked on at Alabama. He was played some ball somewhere. Walked on at Alabama, never had a chance, and got a scholarship. And nobody ever gave him any chance to make it. But he the whole time he met the Lord when he was a kid, when he was 17 or something like that. And he made a commitment to the Lord, he's gonna stay true to him. And look where the Lord put him. And I'm telling you, they interviewed some of his players up there about the influence he has over them, about being a father to them, some of the black guys.
So I wonder when the school officials are gonna come and try to shut him down.
They hadn't even tried it yet.
As long as he's winning football games, they won't.
Well, that's probably right.
But he's producing probably as many NFL players now as any school in the country.
And I agree, and he's not in the best conference. You know, he's in that,
No,
whatever.
but he's recruiting.
He's great.
Kids believe in him.
Yes.
Hey, parents believe that he's gonna take care of their kid.
And he will.
He
Because
does.
he puts God first, not
He does.
football. He's not Bear Bryant, I'm sorry. Bear Bryant was all about Bear Bryant's football. I'm not saying he didn't go to heaven, but Bear Bryant loved football. That's why he died right after.
Broken
Saban,
heart.
what I see is Saban is the same thing. Saban's God is football. Now, Nick Saban wins a lot of stuff. He don't win it all the time, but he wins a lot of stuff. But his whole life is about his football. He lives, breathes, and which is fine. I'm not saying he's not born again. I
That's
don't
why
know
they
that.
pay him $7
But Alabama, that's their livelihood in the carnal world. They got something to grab a hold of, is Alabama football. And out of all those yuppie guys that are out there watching that game, you know how many people that Saban knows? Out of all those, yay, roll tide? Nobody. He can give crap about those people. But see, it's a false sense of belonging. We know God made us to belong, but it's not to belong down here. It's to belong with Him.
That's exactly why
Heaven.
Mark Rick lost his job.
Yes. Because he
They hired a guy that spent time with, they want
Yeah.
another Saban to come over there.
They'll sacrifice their relationship with Jesus Messiah and a winning football program. Alabama did, and Texas tried to buy him.
Yeah.
And Texas is in the middle of the Bible Belt. Look, I grew up out there. I know. People think religion's heavy here. It ain't got no clue how heavy religion is. You go out to the Midwest. It's a whole lot different. Anyway.
But I believe the boys at Oklahoma have a deep spiritual thing.
Oh, Bob Stoops? Absolutely. Big time. And he already told him, he said, look, God comes first. You know. The football program, yes, we'll win. Are we going to win all this other stuff? We don't know. God comes first. And you can't. Bob Stoops and his brothers are all raised that way. And they're good. I mean, they got some good players. Are they ever going to beat Barry Switzer? Barry Switzer didn't have a God. Barry Switzer, football was his. He was a Nick Saban in the 70s. I knew Barry somewhat. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What I want you to understand today, guys, it's all about your relationship in the glory that God created, put in His Son, which went into you, that needs to go back to Him. That's energy, and it doesn't diminish. Now you can use that glory any way you want. Why do you think people that have Lucifer for a name that are successful monetarily in this world? What is the world system? Absence of God. And the world will reward those people very handsomely because they want to get you so far out from God that they can fill that void with them. It isn't a religion. It is. This government is a religious, it wants to get rid of God and put itself.
It does.
And it goes all the way back to the tower, guys, in Genesis. It ain't nothing different. It's been going on forever. That's why God had to flood everything the first time around, because there wasn't any pure blood anymore. Everybody was having sex with other things and animals and all this other crap, and Nephilims, they were having sex from angels, and they grew big, and that's where all these giants came from. Had to get rid of all that. The last person on earth that had pure blood was Noah, his wife, and his 3 sons, and their wife. And that's it. There was nobody else left. Of course, the flood killed everybody, other than the Nephilims that took off from earth. We'll get into that later.
They took off?
Yeah. We'll talk about that later, attorney. Thank you. We're here to talk about glory. Hallelujah.
Okay.
What does glory actually mean?
It encompasses everything that's good about God. And God is all good. You've heard of Shekinah glory, that big cloud?
Yeah.
That's presence of God coming down as a cloud. It was really big back in the 1900s and stuff. I haven't seen the Shekinah glory cloud in a long time, but most people fall down and go, ooh, well, they didn't fall down and go, ooh, bad. It's just God coming in His presence as a cloud. God is in this room right now. God's in every one of you. There's no ooh, bad stuff like that. It's
Always include the circle. Anytime you got a question, always include the circle.
Circle is a structure of power. It goes all the way back. You can get into it metaphysically, but we're not doing that. The center of the circle is where the power is at. And the center of the circle is God. And I'm in with God, so I'm in the center of the circle. That's why Ezekiel said the wheels, he saw the wheels, and spaceship. That's a power. It's always, they did it way back when. Energy into a form equals a function. Remember that. That's the way it works in this physical world. Energy into a form equals a function. So whatever form you put that energy into, it's going to create a function. It's going to do work. And the Egyptians knew about all that. Okay? So we need to know about that also. John 11:40 in the Amplified. This is a really good one. I'm going to read more than just that. I'm going to read all the way. Let's see. I'm going to start at 37. John 11:37. But some of them said, could not he who opened the blind man's eyes have prevented this man from dying? See, they're already putting stuff on Jesus. Why didn't you do this, Eddie? Why didn't you anoint that guy with oil so his nose would quit running, Eddie? Eddie, we need you to pray for us. Did you bring the oil, Eddie? This is what they did to Jesus. See, they're looking for another miracle. Why? So they can believe in the miracle, not the person. See that? It's not about the miracle. That's the end result. It's not a miracle anyway. It's the authority. That's part of the glory. We have that authority. Everything that Jesus did, we can do, or can, or have, or will, if you believe it. And that's what they're saying. I want another miracle. Now Jesus again, sighing repeatedly and deeply disquieted. Stupid ass people. I don't know how long I'm going to have to put up with this. Approached the tomb. That's what he's grumbling. It was a cave, a hole in the rock, and a boulder laid against the entrance to close it. So this tomb has this big giant boulder in front of it, and it's a hole in a rock. Does that remind you of somebody else's tomb? Is that a precursor?
Yeah.
Think about it. Jesus said, take away the stone. Martha. Oh, Martha. She was a devout follower of Jesus. The sister of the dead man exclaimed, but Lord, by this time he's decaying. It throws off an offensive odor, for he has been dead for 4 days. And in the King James it says, and he stinketh. And this is what Jesus said. Now she's telling him what's wrong with this picture. She said, look, God, guy's dead. Been dead for 4 days. He's in a hole in a rock, and he got this over him, and he stinks, and he's rotten, and it's been 4 days, and he's dead, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's the end, Jesus. What are you talking about? Why do you want to roll the rock with him? Look at all this crap that you would put us into. We don't want to go there, because we've already seen the end. He died. You lost. You didn't get here in time. It's all your fault. And that's what she's saying, and this is why you don't want to do it, because I don't want to smell it. So they took away the stone, and Jesus lifted up his eyes, and guess where he was lifting them to? Heaven. See, he couldn't do this flesh and blood person. He had to do this Jesus, Holy Ghost filled spiritual person. See? Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. Do you think he said that audibly, or do you think he said it to himself? Yes, I know you always hear and listen to me. Do you think God always hears and listens to you?
Yeah.
Do you think God has heard every word that comes out of your mouth?
Before I even say it.
He heard that before he said like be. But have you ever cussed? You ever cursed?
Oh, yeah.
Ever gotten mad at somebody?
I've been around people that did.
Uh-huh. Yeah, here's one right here, me. But see, this is what I'm saying. This is why words are so powerful, and this is what he said. But I have, let's see, yes, I know you've always heard and listened to me, but I have said this on the account and for the belief of the people standing around. That's why he did it, for their belief, so they can be in unison with him. See, it's all about what? You have to be in harmony.
To see the glory of God, that's what.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Thank you. So that they may believe that you did send me, that you have made me your messenger. Now what's all that mean? Tony said, glory.
Glory.
It's all about glory.
He gets the glory.
Of God.
When he had said this, he shouted with a loud voice. He spoke to this dead person. This dead person's an entity. It's like this table. The table's dead, but it's still an entity. That's why we have, what? Authority over all things that God has made. So you can speak to a rock, you can speak to a table, you can speak to everything. If you guys know me at all, if you've been on little road trips, I speak to stuff. Ed knows this probably better than anybody. You see me do it. And he said, come out. Now how's Lazarus going to come out of there? He's wrapped up in linen cloth like a mummy. His hands are down by his side. His feet's wrapped up. They got him wrapped his head and they got a cloth over the top of his head. Lazarus can't move because he's like wrapped up in all this bandage and stuff. So he's tied up, he's mummy, it's like a big mummy. So he couldn't get up if he wanted to. Somebody's got to cut the bandages off of him. And out walked the man who had been dead. So how'd that happen?
It was the glory.
Here was the glory, that's right. See, that's what I'm saying. There is no deterrent against God's glory at all. This guy was wrapped up, tighter in a drum, couldn't move, dead for 4 days, and Jesus said what? Come out. What did he do? Well, where'd all the bandages and all the other crap go? So he could walk. But he walked out of that tomb.
I believe once he came up, the bandages didn't mean too much.
And out walked the man who had been dead, his hands and feet wrapped in burial cloths, linen strips, and with a burial napkin bound around his face. Jesus said to them, free him from the burial wrappings and let him go. So you know what that means to me? He was levitating out where he was laying and he came out of the front of the tomb. And then they unwrapped him. So he was levitated out alive in all those crap. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So was that a miracle? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Upon seeing what Jesus had done, many of the Jews who had come with Mary, that's who, Martha's sister, believed. Here's the key, dude. Here's the glory. Believed in him. They trusted in him and adhered to him and relied on him.
So Lazarus was the brother of both these girls?
Yes,
Okay.
Martha and Mary.
Okay.
But some of them went back to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. So the chief priests and Pharisees called a meeting of the council, the Sanhedrin, and said, what are we to do? For this man performs many signs, evidences, and miracles. It doesn't matter what you do. compared to what the world believes. These guys are representative of the world. Jesus just brought a guy, levitated him out of a tomb. He sat his feet down and they had to unwrap him so he could walk around from the dead for 4 years. Levitation brought a guy back from the dead. And what are these clowns saying? What are we going to do? For this man performs many signs and miracles. If we let him alone to go on like this, everyone will believe in him and adhere to him, and the Romans will come and suppress and destroy and take away our holy place.
It's the money and power.
That's it, brother. It's that, see, it's the authority of the government, of wherever.
That's what it is, brother.
And right here, this is in Jesus' time. And what Jesus did, I would kind of be war on my knees with somebody. Brought this guy out from the dead, levitated him from the 4 days, and they're talking down to.
And he smelled good.
Oh yeah,
He don't stink it.
no stink up. He did all of this. So if Jim, you go out there and start raising people out of the graveyard, you know what would happen?
You'd be.
Same thing happened to
Same
Jesus.
thing.
How do I know? I used to go to hospitals and lay hands on people. And you know what I got out of that? They ran me out of the hospital.
Yeah, they would declare that illegal.
I wasn't,
Christ in this,
I wasn't writing prescriptions or charging people. And
They
they,
ain't got any degree.
oh, I don't have that either, except when I get hot. I go over 98.6.
But if you start raising people from the dead, they want to make that illegal.
Sure
They
they do.
got a perfect answer for the people who object to that. You say, okay, kill him again. Go kill that one again. Go kill that one again if you don't like him.
But it's not in the miracles. That's what I want you guys to understand. It's in the glory of God. All these miracles these guys are performing in South America and all this and that, which is beautiful, wonderful and all that, but it's still not going to get the people to believe. It's in the heart. It's the truth. It's not the miracles that will get people to believe. It won't work that way. It never has. And it won't
They have
today.
to start with a love for the truth.
Yes. Yes.
Well, the miracles are for signs. Signs ain't, it's not gonna get you born again. It's just a sign, you know, this way.
Well, believing is what gets you born.
Yeah, that's right. But that's, you know,
That's what we're-
that's why heathens can get healed and born again people can get healed.
It's true.
Don't make any difference.
It's glory. Glory has no thing with being born again or not. It's the glory. We're all born, we're all made, every one of us in God's image. And that is where all this comes from. And we're supposed to be doing just like what Jesus did today. We're supposed to be walking in that glory. Somebody has something wrong and they're willing to believe, become one with you, and then you look up in heaven and you say, come forth, or go away. I mean, I've laid hands on every one of you guys in here, and whatever was bugging you is gone. Well, it's not me. It's the glory that resides inside of me, and that glory is inside of you.
would it be Shekinah glory?
It could be if it's a cloud, yeah. I've witnessed the Shekinah glory cloud once, I can remember. It's been
I
a long
have
time.
once.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
But everybody was in a state of spiritual being, not doing it. And it was praying and one big glorified, and some of the people were looking in the corner and don't know what.
Did you know you remember the big revival they had down in Pensacola, Florida?
Yeah, that guy was all tattooed up,
I went
Yes.
down there
yeah.
one night.
What was his name?
He had an affair with
It
his
went,
second.
it went 5 years,
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
and, I went down there to that revival, and I saw Shekinah glory.
Even though that guy was horrible teacher, the guy was full of tattoos because he was having sex with his secretary, and he had a wife and a bunch of kids. And the thing that took me away from that, when they came to Dwight's deal,
They did come to Dwight?
yeah, these guys did, and they wanted to pray for everybody and all that. I don't know if you remember that, you may not have been there. But they did that, and I said, well, what started all this thing? Oh, a woman angel came down to us, and I'm going,
What? Stop the clock.
I said,
Oh, what?
woman angel, a female angel. I go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
This is not a God. It can't be, because there's no female angels. There's no procreation in heaven. They're all males, or neuter, I mean, they don't have it. And I said, this ain't from heaven.
They're all neutral.
But did all those signs and wonders and miracles? Absolutely. Did you see the sign? Yes, you did, because the people believed, even though the guy was wrong and his heart was hard, that part of him, I'm saying he wasn't born again, I'm just saying he was, not doing what people are held up to. But it ain't
And I was there, that guy wasn't doing it. That guy wasn't there. There was a local preacher in Pensacola, Florida, that preached that night, and it went till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's a
And
glory.
they asked people in the audience where all they from. There's 53 different countries represented there.
People are hungry for the truth, Eddie.
But I saw people coming in there in wheelchairs and crutches. They were coming in there from all over the world. And I tell you, you wouldn't believe. I mean, it went on and on and on.
You'd be hungry after that.
Well, Carl Jones and I went down there, and we had to sit in a balcony. There was two seats left in the whole place. And it was in the balcony, at the last row in the balcony. We sat there and watched it. And I just shaking my head, and Carl and I, we couldn't believe it. I'd never seen anything like it in my
Well,
life.
you wouldn't. You've been surrounded by Baptist religion all your life. And Baptists don't do that.
Oh,
Billy Graham was in Africa one time, and he had hundreds, thousands of people, and Gudina, who is a black pastor that you guys probably knew from Ron, Gudina. Anyway, he was a young guy, and he was there, and this guy was in the audience, and he was blind, and he got his sight back, and he runs up there to get onto the stage, and the head guy for Ding Dong, he said, I've had a miracle, I can see. And the guy says, we don't believe in that, and you can't come on stage. Because they're good Baptist boys. Billy Graham. Did he get a lot of people saved? Absolutely. Hundreds of thousands. But there's always a price to pay when you're dealing in religion. I don't care if you're a Baptist, Catholic, Presbyterian, Methodist, Church of God, Friend of God. I don't
If it's a
care.
religion, then it's
And you've got a price to pay. There's good things that happen.
well,
tainted.
There's some really good things
I've
that
changed
happen.
my attitude, sort of, about why that is with these guys that are ministers and staff people. Is because they're like everybody else. They don't want to lose that paycheck.
Selfishness. Yes. They put themselves above God.
So they have,
World.
they're into a fear.
Yes.
You know, they don't want to have to move again and
Luciferian.
go get another job or
teaching.
find another job, and they got families. I mean, I understand all that.
But do you believe in God supply all you need according to his riches and glory by Jesus, the anointed one, the Son of the Most High God? Riches in heaven. You know what that means? Glory, coal, all. Do you believe that? None of us believe it all. If we did, we'd be walking on water and raising the dead right now. I want to believe all that.
We ain't got no needs, Coach.
No, you
I
can
don't.
meet, you can meet somebody that could have a need.
Yeah, but
That's what I'm
our
saying.
need has already been supplied. I mean, that's,
Absolutely.
I supplied a need to a woman the other day. It was 94 degrees. She had a backpack on at the corner of Shamrock Dunwoody and the exit ramp, and she was sweating. I mean, she's out there begging for money. And I pulled up to the stoplight, and she came over to my car, and I said, "Where you stand with Jesus, ma'am?"
What a great-
And she said, "I know Jesus." I said, "Well, what are you doing out here begging then?"
Yeah, there it is.
And she said, "Well, I lost my job and they kicked me out of my apartment." I said, "See that shopping center right over there? I bet you there's 5 signs in windows over there, people wanting people to work. Now, I'm going to give you some money, but this money is from Jesus. I want you to know that name, Jesus." And he gave it to me so that I could give it to you, but he doesn't want you, if you know him, to be begging. He wants you to be given. So you need to walk over there and see about getting you a job over in that shopping center right over there. She looked at me like,
What?
yeah.
you take away my life.
Talking about work?
You're messing with my livelihood.
I am working right now. I'm
Yeah.
getting you to give me some money. I ask Jesus, every time I see somebody like that, I say, "Do you want me to give him money?" And God usually says no. sometimes he doesn't, and I'll give him money.
I have done it before, but most of the time it's done.
I let my heart dictate, not my feelings. Because see, people want to give, people want to help,
yeah.
everybody does.
Yeah.
But when you do that, that person, which is a snake, is going to take, because that's what they do. And then you know where they go, right after it gets a little dark, they go to the liquor store, or they buy a bunch of beer. And you know, then the same person that's begging is on that same corner the next day you come by.
Well, I saw another one in a parking lot with their son, little kid.
Oh, yeah, that's
He
a problem.
and want you to really get that tug at your heart.
Oh, yeah.
And I sat there in my car and watched her move around and ask people. And after somebody give her something, she'd walk over behind a car and look at it and give it to him. And he put it in his pocket.
Yeah, that's a
And I was
treasure.
waiting on her to come to me because I was gonna get her, I was gonna let her have it.
It's
Just
probably-
kinda talk to her, I wasn't gonna scold her or anything. Uh,
But they do that off our, see, why is America so blessed? Why?
Because we're giving.
We're
Because
giving,
we're givers. We've always given to everybody that's hollered, we've given them money. And then the government got a hold of it, and then they start writing checks so they can get privileges in that country. They
right,
took it from being in love into giving to get. And that's warped. And everybody thinks we're pigs. Everybody hates us.
they do,
They do. They hate us because one thing.
we're so blessed.
They're jealous. This is why. It's called what? Law of reciprocity. God's glory was given to his son, which was given to us, and then what do we do with that glory?
Give it back.
We give it back. That's the same way you put a dollar in. The dollar goes here, then the dollar goes there, and the video goes out over here, and then somebody else does this. And guess what God will do? If you do it out of your heart and belief, not to give to get. God's going to bless you. Now, God might bless you. If you give $1, he may give you $5 worth of crap, stuff to eat or buy. It doesn't have to be in dollars if you don't want it to be. Or you can be, I want money. Then you'll get money back. How do I know that? I needed car tires. I had my 50th high school reunion and I was driving. It's 900 miles one way, and you guys know I needed car tires.
Car time.
And guess what happened?
Car tires.
People gave me the money to buy the tires. 4 days before I left. $800. Cash money. That's the way it works. It's always going to work that way if you believe it. It can be 800, it can be 8 million. What do you need? You see how that works?
What you need is that when you're praying, you're really praying because the need is already there.
You're celebrating.
The word ask, explain what the word ask means in the New Testament.
Okay. Ed Everett goes to his mother and asks for a drink of water.
Right.
Do you think your mother's going to say no?
No.
You already know you're going to get the
You already
water.
know the answer.
But why did you ask her? Because you were raised in an atmosphere of morality, and that's asking your mother to give you the water is being in harmony with her out of love. Because you didn't ask anybody else but your mama. And you already knew you were going to get it. That's the same way you do Jesus.
You already know that it's there,
It's there.
but you're asking anyway
Why?
because of the heart.
Glory. You're giving him back the glory.
Okay.
It's just giving him back the glory. Because you already know you got it.
It's all an offshoot.
It's that reciprocating, giving him back the glory, giving him back the love. Why do you love? To get love back. Why did God love the world so much he gave? And it really wasn't his son, it was God, but you know, he has to talk to sheep herders and goat herders, and they had to call it his son, but it was God coming down in a physical form. Why did he do that? Law of reciprocity. He gave the most expensive, best, top shelf present he could, and that was himself. And what's he expect? You to return that to him. And what's our best, most expensive thing we can give him?
Ourselves.
Ourselves.
Self.
Glory. Love. We don't know how to give unconditional love because we don't understand that other than knowing that God gives it to us. Everything else has always been conditioned. Our whole life, we've always been conditional. Your wife, you conditionally love her. Your children, you conditionally love them. Your grandkids, you conditionally love them. The only person that you don't have to conditionally love is yourself, and most of us have such low self-esteem we even put conditions on that. Because we judge ourselves. It's not about what you guys do, it's about what Jesus has done. That self-condemnation, you got to send it away. Every time it raises his ugly head and it wants to compare you to something you did that you know you shouldn't have, you send it away. You've got to have real high self-esteem. Why? How does God see you?
Perfect.
Okay, and you know what sin is? It's when you see yourself less than what God sees. That's sin. Okay? I'm going to call it on God's glory. I think we pretty much covered everything we need to cover on it. So we'll have something new next week. I don't know what it will be, but we shall see.